My daughter suffered from anxiety and depression and self-harmed for about 5 years. I felt so helpless. And in my prayers, I said, I don't know what more to do. I heard a voice that said to me, you haven't given her to me.
This is the Best of the Week on Relevant Radio.
Before my wife and I became Catholic, December 8th, or this year, of course, the 9th, didn't mean much to me except for one more day to count down before Christmas. But now I understand that today is a feast worthy of great celebration. Falling in the midst of the Advent season, it serves as the divine exemplar of preparing the way of the Lord. Whatever valleys may rise, whatever mountains made low, they will pale in comparison to a girl immaculately conceived in her mother's womb as the Ark of the New Covenant. Well, if you can't quite tell yet, we're focusing today's show on the Immaculate Conception, and joining us as our spiritual director today is Father Matthew Witter. Father Matthew is a priest serving as pastor at St. John Newman, St. William, St. Joseph, and St. Mary in Waukesha, Wisconsin, in the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. Welcome back to the Inner Life, Father, and a most blessed solemnity to you.
It's a wonderful day and great to be with you and all the listeners. And prepare the way of the Lord. That is a great expression of what the Immaculate Conception is all about.
I know.
It is the Lord preparing a way in the most beautiful way, no doubt.
Oh man, I'm full of joy today. I did make it to Mass this morning, and I am so grateful that that we have today to celebrate in such a great way. Well, obviously there are misconceptions that, especially in the wider world and secular society, that come around with the Immaculate Conception. So let's start, as we frequently do, Father, with a little bit of definition here. So what is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and maybe some of the misconceptions about this feast day?
Yeah, just to frame it up and to define it, officially promulgated in 1854 on this day. And it's the doctrine that holds that the Blessed Virgin Mary, from the very first moment of her conception, was preserved from God, from all stain of original sin, and was preserved by a grace and merits of Jesus Christ, preserved from original sin. And so that's the very basic definition, that from the very first instance for conception, by a grace from God, the merits of Christ, Mary was preserved, free from all stain of original sin. And so that's the doctrine, simply put. For Catholics, I think the biggest misconception that Catholics have on this day, especially if you've gone to Mass, is you're going to hear the word conception. We're going to hear the gospel of the Annunciation. And we're going to say, oh, this is the day that Mary conceived Jesus. And then we always should just, common sense should tell us, December 8th to December 25th, that's 3 weeks. Like, no one's going to be born at that time, right? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So that should tell us something is off here. We know that the Annunciation is March 25th, 9 months until December 25th. And those who really are into things know that Mary's birthday is September 8th. So then what does that mean? Yes, this is Mary's conception. This is Mary's conception.
Right. And my understanding is this devotion, this understanding, it as many of our celebrations do, is that it was, even though it wasn't declared as a dogma in the Church till 1854, I mean, it predates that, the celebration of the Immaculate Conception predates that by centuries, right? Yep.
And the feast predated the official dogma, and even the Council of Trent, even alludes to it. And so this isn't something that, the Pope just said, okay, here we are. This is something, as all dogmas are, is that they've held true for all eternity, and will continue to be true for all eternity. And so this is something that was known in the hearts of the faithful, and the Pope then officially promulgated as a dogma December 8th, 1854.
Got Denise, who's been waiting patiently in Chino Hills, California. Denise, thanks for calling in.
Hi. I'd like to share a story regarding our Mother Mary's intercession and my teenage daughter at the time. My daughter suffered from anxiety and depression and self-harmed for about 5 years. My husband and I sought intensive treatment for her, and we made every effort to try to help her. And one night, she had an incident that required us to go to the emergency room. And she and I sat there in the emergency room, and I was just devastated. And at this point in my life, I felt so helpless. And in my prayers, I said, I don't know what more to do. And I heard a voice that said to me, "You haven't given her to me." And I was taken back. I looked at my watch. It was now 15 minutes past midnight. It was December 8th. And I knew those words came from our Mother Mary. I said to her, "Then I will give her to you. And if she is to be here present on the earth with me, then I will take care of her. If she is not, then I give her to you. I commit her to you." My daughter never self-harmed after that day. I know it was the intercession of our Mother Mary, and I give great gratitude to her today. 6 months later, we had another challenge. My daughter learned that she was 19 and pregnant, and I was again devastated. And I said, "Mother Mary, I don't understand this." Well, we learned that my grandson's due date was December 10th. And I have a great devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I said, "I don't understand this, Mother Mary. I don't understand this, but I give her to you." My grandson will be 11 years old next week.
Wow.
And he, the pride and joy of our life, that birth of that child was what turned my daughter's life around. So who am I to question? She is now 31 years old. She's a registered nurse. She has 2 other beautiful children. We did have other challenges throughout her life. And I will say that Mother Mary always revealed herself to me in the form, I should say, of Our Lady of Guadalupe. When I prayed desperately, I heard answers. So this week is a very, very special week to me, where I call it my Thanksgiving, because I know she hears. I know she wraps us in her mantle, and I know she will always protect me and my family.
Yeah. When did your devotion to Our Lady start? That's such a beautiful story. Did you have a close connection to Mary before that moment in the emergency room?
Yes. As a child, my grandmother developed my devotion to Mary. She would take me to the grotto at our church and place flowers before Mary. My grandmother spoke. She had a statue in her home where we would bring flowers. We would crown her in May. My grandmother had great devotion to the rosary. And it wasn't until later as an adult that I realized that was where my devotion came from.
Your grandma's example.
My grandmother's example, and also my father, for Our Lady of Guadalupe as children, we would go to Las Mañanitas on occasion every year. But as an adult, I began to, after my father passed, I began to practice again. And so I knew that she is here and present and listening to me. And that year, it was December of 2012, when we'd been in the emergency room, and then 4 days later, I made a point of going to Las Mañanitas and giving her thanks and praise, and recommitting my daughter to her and in her care, and truly trusting and accepting whatever happened would be our Lord's will.
Yep. It's such a beautiful, beautiful story in that sense that comes to mind. There's the Mañanitas, there's our different celebrations, and Mary within that emergency room that night really became very much real. She became not just a statue, but a real person that makes all the devotions come to life all that much more.
It's amazing. It's amazing what Our Lady can do. And Denise, your phone call obviously just lays it out for all of us, how personal this relationship is. And I think that's one of the things that we always need to be reminded of, Father, is that our relationship with our Blessed Mother is one of maternal care and concern, and that she is always there for us.
She's always there for us. And Denise's call, it makes me think of that, that sense of you haven't given her to me. I know for many people, December 8th is an anniversary of consecration to Mary. Many times we have the beautiful custom of consecrating ourselves to Mary, and usually choosing, many times preparing for 33 days and then on the feast to do a consecration. And so many people I know have this particular consecration day, and that consecration is a very tangible way putting ourselves, putting those we love under the care and the protection of Mary.
Yeah, absolutely. Denise, thank you so much for a powerful testimony to Our Lady's work in your life and the life of your daughter and your grandson as well. We are grateful. And that's one of the things, too, is that I think gratitude is something that we can maintain in our hearts throughout this day. Gratitude for all of Mary's intercession, some of which we know, as Denise pointed out, but I'm sure much of which we do not know how she intercedes for us. This entire episode of The Inner Life is on the Relevant Radio app. The Relevant Radio app is completely free and updated daily with fresh articles, podcasts, and prayers. Don't delay. Download the app today. And thanks for listening.